Hello and welcome back to Fragmaster's Fox Friday and Live for Speed. It's been about a 6-week break, I think, since we were last here, but we are here tonight nonetheless with round number 38 of the 2023 Championship tonight at South City Town Course with a large turnout of drivers, I'm happy to see. We have a qualifying session about to get started. I'm Peter Butcher, you're watching Sim Broadcasts, and joining me tonight in the commentary box, it's Michael Málek. Michael, how are you doing?
Good evening, everyone. I'm doing well. How about you, Pete?
Yeah, good. Had a busy day of karting today, so that was fun, and ready to get into the action tonight here in Fox Friday for another epic race. But tonight is slightly different. We have a little bit of a mix-up, something we don't normally do for Fox Friday at all, and that is going to be 2 sprint races. Oh yeah, we love sprint races. The second race will have a reverse grid, so we're going to get 32 laps each here tonight at South City Town Course, a track we haven't run for some time, but we do love it, don't we, Michael? It's pretty fun. Doesn't have the long straight with the hairpin over the motorway, but we do get some fantastic corners for the Fox. We've got some cars going out on the circuit, so if you're not familiar with this series, then here is the Formula XR. We call it the Fox. It's got a 2-litre inline-4 mid-engine rear-wheel drive, and it's just under a ton with 200 brake horsepower. And let's see what we've got on the schedule. We have 3 rounds left towards the end of the year and after tonight, so we are halfway through our coverage of the championship. There is a rumour that we are going to be doing one of the special events towards the end of the year as well, but we will confirm that in due course. But at the moment, 4 rounds broadcast to around 38, 41, 45, 49. Michael, we've got cars out on the track, so let's turn our cameras over to them and we'll talk about the all-important Drivers' Championship standings in a moment.
So we start with Alpecin, who's doing his, I believe it's outlap. Yeah, he's on his outlap, getting ready, getting tires into the temperature before he sets the first flying lap of the session, which for the time being will surely give him the provisional pole, but I'm sure there are multiple drivers who will do much better than that. But let's see how it goes for him. He's just 2 corners before he starts his flying lap. This is the penultimate corner where he breaks into the heavy hairpin. There he goes, and then rather short, straight, uphill into the fast left-hander, and let's see how the hot lap goes for him. Let's remind that everyone has 1 attempt tonight. There's no retry in this series, so you got 1 shot, and that's all you can do. Don't mess it up. Let's see how it goes for Alpecin as he's crossing the finish line now.
Yeah, he's just starting a flying lap, so let's watch him around here and we will go for some epic quali. Alpecin is the first of the Fragmaster cars on the track, with Onifus and Fin UK waiting in the wings as well, with Friends United Rocket out there too. We've got some absolutely epic drivers who are going to be running in this series tonight, so let's enjoy qualifying. We don't tend to watch qualifying anymore on our channel. Tonight, with one-shot qualifying for Fox Friday, we want to show you all the drivers that are going to be competing in the double header here tonight. 2 sprint races, and as Alpecin gets a bit of a lock-up into the hairpin and slams into the outside wall, that's not going to be ideal for his lap. But then we turn to this overhead shot running down the hill towards the final hairpin, and that will conclude 1 lap of South City Town Course. Out wide onto the curb there, and then over start finish. It's a little bit way down. You don't want to celebrate too early here. There are 2 start finish lines, but the second one is the one to look for. Fin UK should be the next car across the line. He's just coming up the hill towards now the downhill section at the end of the lap. Final corner coming up, and well, we're going to get all of the Fragmaster cars, I think, out straight away, and we'll see where they set themselves in terms of lap time. A 1:14.3 for Payson, and only a 1:13.8 for Finn, so we'll see what happens. Next, we've got Onifus coming across the line. He's going to be taking the final corner now. There he goes. And out wide. This looks a little bit more committed and a bit tighter of a line than the previous two Fragmaster cars. And there we go. That just shows you what that will give you, Michael.
Absolutely. So far, it's 1, 2, 3 for Fragmaster, but it's only because these two are so far the only ones who got their time set. Next one to cross the line is FU Rocket, Friends United Rocket, who's about to finish his lap with just 2 more turns to go. He's now about to brake hard into the slow right-handed hairpin. There he goes. Unlike Alpezon, he doesn't make the mistake with too much braking, and now proceeds into the final turn. Let's see how it goes for him. There's not much braking. I think they are barely lifting into this corner. Let's see how it goes for him. He has good speed, and let's go to the start-finish line, and he will slot into P4, actually. He's not faster than any of the Fragmaster guys.
Yeah, and P4 for Friends United Rocket there. D will be next to take the checkered flag for his run. Remember, 1-shot qualifying here. That means 1 out lap, 1 flying lap. Very wide out of the final corner there, Michael, for Happy D.
Yeah, very wide, but as long as he keeps the speed, I guess it's alright. And he proves me right by setting the provisional pull time of 1 minute, 13 seconds and 22 hundredths. Let's see if our teammate, Pedro, BR, beats him, as he's about to lift into the final turn and show what he got into his wheels. There was some small slide, but he seems to be very fast and committed. He's hugging the inside wall, but it's actually a very slow time of 1 minute 15:81, so that's the 7th and so far the last place. As we are watching our teammate from Master Race Car Texas finishing his lap, let's see where he slots.
Yeah, this is nice. This rundown through 1-shot quality is nice. It gives us the opportunity to give every single one of the drivers that will take the start some airtime before the chaos of 2 sprint races here tonight. So Texas across the line goes P2, so just behind his teammate at 1:13.3 again. It's looking very tight at the top here, Michael. Another one of your teammates here is Zesty, who emerges from the final corner and across the start-finish line to begin his flying lap. Oh no, sorry, he's just finished his flying lap, and that's a 12:97.
And now it's 1, 2, 3 for Master Race Cars. I will be a little political. I'd call for stop the count, but everyone has 1 shot, and the next one to finish his lap is Road to Presa Lucas, I believe, as we are watching him finishing his lap. He's a very fast guy, so he will definitely slot somewhere, if not at the top, then at least in the middle of the table. He's just finishing his lap now. Let's wait a few seconds to see where he ends up. And it's P5 with 1 minute, 13 seconds, 41 hundredths. And let's see how his teammate, Rick98, I believe, is next one to cross the line. Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah, the Road to Presa driver, the second of 3 Road to Presa drivers. Of course, we've got TJ coming up very soon. Out of the final corner, very committed as always. And across the start-finish line, he will come to go P3. Very nice effort there. And now we can turn our attention to TJ driving the Ferrari-inspired livery there. Again, coming down the hill towards the final turn. And, well, where will he go? The 3 times Fox Friday champion. And probably to the top. Well, let's have a look. And there we go. It is a 12:78. So only just. There is, again, very, very fine margins here, Michael.
Yeah, definitely. TJ sets the pole position, beating all my Master Race Car teammates. So great job from him. Let's watch if attack Yasin who's about to finish his lap, will make some improvement of the best lap of the session. He is hugging the inside line. He wasn't very wide into the final turn, and in fact, he's penultimate in P12 so far with 1 minute 15 seconds 57. And it should be Kurko 87, I believe, who's again finishing his lap, going very close to the inside line. And let's see what laps he set. It's P11 with 1 minute 15.42, so just a bit faster than Friends United Rocket. And we are watching Adal finishing his lap, going very wide into the final turn. Should give him plenty of speed into the final straight, and he's crossing the line. And I hear we are restarting the infographics. There it goes. There it goes, yeah. And Adel is currently 11th with 1 minute 14.68.
We're watching Semi-Hist here as he weaves his way through the circuit. Here you can see the heavy braking zone for the hairpin. Pretty straightforward there for Semi-Hist. And now the run down to the final corner. And we're going to see where he will line up for the start provisionally. Oh, it's not a good exit from the corner, wide into the barrier. So not a good opening lap this for Semi-Hist's weekend. And it's, P16. Next, we've got RD2, and we have an announcement to make, don't we, Michael?
I'm sure we have.
Yeah. Can you see what the announcement is?
I suspect something, but maybe you want to say something else, so I'll leave the bomb for you.
Well, the clue is on the screen. RD2 has joined Race Green. That rhymed. And he goes P7 on his first outing for Race Green that we're seeing on the camera. So very nice. The observant among you will have seen that. Next, we've got Botsy, an old hand in the Formula XR. Here he comes, down towards the final corner. And let's see where he goes. Will he be anywhere near TJ, his old rival? Very wide to the wall, fully committed there. Leaves no room at all, but does not touch it. Crucially there, across start finish, and it's P3, but well within the 112s there. And then the crowd favourite, it's Silas Gabor, who is live on Twitch, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be broadcasting his own view there, so you can go ahead and check out his live stream on board if you so wish over at twitch.tv/Silas Gabor, and he goes P1. So if you were watching that, hopefully it was enjoyable for you. There you go, he's taken pole position provisionally. Senebiar is the next driver to cross the line. And it's going to be a tough one to try and beat out Gabor here this evening. He's set an absolute, a massive gauntlet there, a 1:12.4. What will Senebiar manage? Say, what was that? That was a 13.99, so a couple of seconds off. Another Road Appraiser car, slightly later joining the session than his teammates, but it is Doctor, who is a consistent qualifier, I think it's fair to say, Michael, but that was a touch of the apex and a little bit of oversteer coming out of the final corner. That will have killed all of his momentum. He will not have enjoyed that at all, and so much so that he's cruising to the line, will be solidly down at the back. Not last place, but a 16.42, and quite clearly unhappy with his effort there. Next, we've got Rex for Good Drivers. Another driver using the Ferrari-inspired livery on the Fox. It's the same paint job that TJ's using, and it's wide and into the wall for Rex there. Unfortunate. And after we see Rex across the line to take P21, not a good lap for him at all. He'll be gutted with that one. It's Yoni Katilla, World Class Lions True Alpha, using his Alfa Romeo livery once more. gets the inside. Lots of drivers don't do this. They're in the middle of the road somewhere, and Yoni manages 10 hundredths of a second, 1/10 of a second off of Gabor. He takes P2. Next, Michael, it's Stiefler.
Absolutely, Stiefler is now in the slow run-ended hairpin, goes through very smoothly and onto the penultimate straight. This is very short straight before the fast left-hander, where we have already seen quite a few mistakes from fast guys. So let's see how he goes. He's hugging the wall, goes pretty wide, keeps a lot of momentum into the final straight, and let's see where he slots out. And he's in P17, 1 minute 15.07.
And next we've got Team America Joyner, and this is an out lap, so we will be able to do a full onboard towards the end of the session. This is Joyner's second attempt at a lap. His first lap was impeded, so therefore the stewarding team have allowed him another attempt. Here we go, very cautiously down into turn 1. That's not gone well at all. You want to be way more committed than that. And then we've got the right-hander past the secondary pit lane, the support pit lane here, followed by another right-hander, which takes you to the pit lane exit. Then the bus stop chicane, 2 very technical left-handers, followed by a quick right up the hill, and that's what gives it the bus stop chicane name. Then we have a long run, a long sweeping left-hander, avoid the white and red barrier, which unfortunately Joyner does not there. If you do that too many times, you're going to give yourself some geometry and suspension issues later on. And then down into the hairpin at the end here, hard on the brakes, quick flick to the right, and then a short run up the hill before we hit the end of the lap. Just one corner to go for Joyner, as we see the end to a fairly shaky lap, it has to be said. But nevertheless, Joyner will complete a lap, and it should be good enough to get him through into the qualifying session. And with that, Joyner goes into P25, so our final driver will be Joyner, and that is everybody, Michael. So everybody has now set a qualifying lap.
You're right, and we will have a healthy grade of 25 cars, which I'm sure will provide a lot of exciting racing in 32 laps long sprints.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to get 2 races this evening. Let's just flash that graphic back up. 2 32-lap races. The first is going to start in around about 5 minutes time, because of the lower number of attendees that we have today. Just 25 cars starting. Still a very, very healthy grid. Plenty for the streets of South City this evening. But yes, 2 32-lap races. The second will be a reverse start. We love those reverse starts. Let's get a look at those qualifying results then. It was Gabor took pole in a 1:12.4 ahead of Yoni Katila. Remember, this was one-shot qualifying. These drivers just got one attempt to do this lap, so that's impressive. An impressive lap there from Gabor to be a 10th over Yoni. Yoni himself is 2/10 ahead of TJ, and then it's Zesty just inside the 1 minute 12s there, alongside Botsy for Sidus there, also within the 112s. Then Happy D in the 113s with Rick 98, Texas, Roger Chen, RD2 making his debut for Race Green on our channel. Then we've got Lucas for Road Appraiser, Onifus and Finn UK for the Fragmaster team, and Senna the final car in the 13s. Then we move to the 14s. It's Al Payson for Fragmaster in P15, Adal for PSR. We've got Stiefler, Kirku, Rocket, and Yasin. And over on the second page of results, it's Pedro BR for Master Race Car, Road Appraisers Doctor, Good Drivers Rexed, Semi-Hist, and Team America's Joyner down there just inside the 107 there. The 107 cut-off time is a 1:17.46, so Joyner should be allowed to start this race. All right, Michael, that's qualifying done. Now it's time to talk about the all-important championship standings. For the Fragmasters Fox Friday series, we have both a drivers and teams championship. So let's start with the drivers. It's TJ leading the way by only 11 points over Gabor. Both of them are here today. Both of them are on the front 2 rows. It's Gabor with the advantage today, but he needs it, Michael. He is 11 points behind in the championship.
Absolutely, we will see some incredible battle for the championship lead tonight. Fatal in P3, slightly behind with 1057 points. Then Roger Chen, Zesty, Onifus, Good Drivers Rex, Fragmaster Alpazon, Iron Donny, and RD2, still not under the Race Green Auto Sports flag here, but I'm sure it will be updated soon in P10. Then in P11, Happy D from Master Race Car, followed by Finn UK, Fragmaster Christian, Sidus Monkey, Number, Pete Koivunen, Korko 87, Strater, Fragmaster Rudolfa, and in P20 going to race Ayub.
Yeah, the top 20. I won't make you read out all of these, Michael, because you will be here literally all day. We have 100 drivers who are on the Drivers' Championship standings. I mean, if you want to go for it, I don't know how much time we have, but only a couple of minutes to go before the start of race number 1. But we'll just flash up these names, and we thank everybody who has attended so far this year. A good list of names, lots and lots of names that are familiar from yesteryear, who have dropped in for 1 or 2 rounds so far this season. And of course, there are lots of races left towards the end of the year. This championship runs every single week, even if we aren't broadcasting it to you all the time. Please feel free to grab a copy of LFS, or if you already have LFS, just brush off the dust from that wheel and get yourself into the server at 8 o'clock UTC +1 next week. Here we go. There are the 100 names. T-Bug there with 2 points representing his team. And let's look then at the team standings very quickly. We've got Fragmaster leading the way with Road Appraiser, then Sidus, Master Race Car, FM2, and then Good Drivers, Iron, FM3, World Class Lions, and FM4, the top 10. And I believe we have a second page. But yes, a large number of teams always turning out for this series. There you go, 40 teams for this one. We do have 2 more teams on the other page, but I think we can call it there. I think, Michael, that this is a call to say we have 300 seconds now before the start of race number 1, the first of 2 today, of course, which we're very much looking forward to around South City Town Course. I don't know when the last time we had a reverse grid race for Fragmasters Fox Friday. I think it may have been the first event actually that we broadcast this year. They always prove pretty interesting. We always end up with a little bit of chaos in the second race, and that is sometimes wanted and sometimes unwanted. But today at South City, it's going to cause a little bit more chaos than perhaps it would at some tracks that have, say, some runoff, Michael.
Absolutely, this track has very little opportunity for overtaking, so whoever wins race 1 has to start from P15, and that will be a huge challenge to get back onto the top in those 32 laps. I have one interesting observation. This is 5th broadcast of the regular Fragmaster Fox Friday season, starting from June. And this is the 3rd time we are broadcasting from South City, so I think this is a very popular combination here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Chris has just clarified in my ear. I think I knew this, but I completely forgot. 6 weeks ago, the last time we broadcast Fragmasters Fox Friday, that was also a two race affair. It wasn't supposed to be, which is why possibly it's dropped from my memory. But I think they were testing a new format, and we got 2 races last time out, and I do now remember that, and it was a little bit drama filled, the second race, which we love over here on Sim Broadcasts. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you're enjoying our coverage, of course, and absolutely buzzing for this one. 3 minutes to go, Michael, before we end up with 32 laps, our first 32 lap race. We'll go for a short break, and we'll be back for the grid. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back to the start of Fragmaster's Fox Friday, round number 38 of the championship. And Michael, Málek, we have a grid. Take it away for the start.
We see all 25 drivers are ready for the start of the first sprint race, 32 laps long. We have red lights on, and we are going green in South City. Once again, Gabor has a very good start. Let's see how it goes behind him. Let's hope there is no serious crash, because the series is not restarting. Gabor is still having the lead. Meanwhile, there's a three-way fight for the second place. Around the outside goes the Ferrari team, I believe it's TJ, still going side by side with Johnny Catella, the True Alpha, still side by side. But TJ seems to stay in the P2. Gabor has now already comfortably look at the huge gap he is having. Now everyone going single file through this bus stop chicane. And there's some contacts, I believe it was Road to Praise car, the collision. As we are watching, everyone seems to be still going as Gabor is leading. He's having over, I think it's around 1 second advantage over TJ in P2 and Johnny Catella in P3. Everyone so far going pretty safely through. No collisions in the U-turn.
Yeah, you've absolutely jinxed that now, Michael, by saying no contact. There was a lot of contact on that first lap, but hopefully we don't have too much more in this race. We've got Al Payson coming into the pit lane. Every single driver must make a pit stop during the 2 sprint races. And there we go, Al stopping in the pits there and running it down to the end of the pit lane. A few others coming in as well, but let's turn our attention back to the track. It's TJ currently in P2, trying to fend off an attack from Johnny Catella. So far so good. And then we've got Master Race Cars Zesty trying to get close to the back of Botsy. Onifus has been in the wall, and we've got a car upside down. No, he's not upside down, but he's going very, very slowly along the support pit lane road there. But yeah, trying to consolidate something from that start that he had. Gabor, fastest lap already with a 1.5 second lead over TJ for Road Appraiser. Then it's Johnny Catella trying to get up to the back of TJ. Does not want to let TJ run away with this. Once the slipstream is broken, that is that. TJ will just run away with it, I reckon. But anyway, Botsy, he has lost the slipstream to Johnny, and he has bigger problems now because he's got Zesty and Happy D, the 2 Master Race Car teammates of you, Michael, right behind.
Exactly, but as I said before, this track is extremely challenging when it comes to overtaking, and so far Botsy is doing everything he has to do to stay in front of them. Let's see how it goes when tires get up to the temperature, and for some even over the desired temperature, as Onifus is in the pit lane. Let's see how the strategy of early pitting goes for him. He's now dropping, I think he's repairing some damage because he's stationary for a very long time. So he goes down to the very tail of the grid.
Yeah, he had to repair some damage, so that's exactly right, Michael. That's why he was in the pit lane for so long. And that gap between Botsy and Johnny is going up and up and up. Botsy is going to have a lot of work to do in a minute if he can't get away from the 2 cars behind him. Here is the long straight that we were talking about before, and Zesty with a mighty stamp on the brake pedal just about gets the car slowed down before driving into the back of Botsy's rear wing there. But yeah, not enough out of the corner, not enough out of the hairpin to close up. And I don't think he's close enough actually to make a run down into T1. So Botsy is on the edge of this, but so far seems to be in control. Absolutely no problem. Let's see how RD2's doing in his first race for Race Green on our channel. Currently P10, so solid so far. Always one of the first targets when you're driving in a race is to get inside the top 10. It's what you want to begin with, and what a good way to do it as with your new team. It would be fantastic if you can hold it inside the top 10. Let's see what else is going on. We've got some drama down into turn 1. That's Semi-Hist, who's gone straight into the wall and has retired there from the race at turn 1. Decides that that's enough and may choose to rejoin for the beginning of the second one in just a few moments' time. Seems like he had to go, actually. I think he's just dived out of the server and apologised to everyone here. So have a good evening. But his race is over. And Yoni Katsila, well, he is looking at the back of TJ at the moment, who is a formidable driver in the Fox. And actually, here's a fight, three-way fight with Finn UK. And I think we've got Adal and Doctor there as one of them pits. I think that was Doctor going into the pit lane to take his mandatory stop, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. He starts slowing down to the necessary 80 kilometers per hour speed limit. He's stationary for about 1 second with his usual for no pit work done. And he's now in P19 and will surely drop down to 20s. There he goes. Let's see where everyone else is after the round of pit stops. He now will have the advantage of somewhat clean air. But I think I jinxed it because he's rejoining behind another car, and that car is in P20, good driver Rex, in the Ferrari livery. And I'm sure he will give hard time to the car behind, as the BR has spun and impeded another car going. It was Stifler. It was a collision, but I think they are both going on.
Yeah, Pedro removed himself from the race after that contact. Was a little bit late potentially, but anyway, gets out of the way and will probably rejoin for race 2, but not the way that Pedro would have wanted his race to end. We've got Finn UK in a bit of a sandwich here, but trying to find something against Senna BR here. Will have a slight slipstream, but not enough. He's too far back. He will not be able to get that move done. But Finn himself might be in a little bit of trouble potentially from Adal, although it looks like he's got enough. It looks like he's got it covered, and they will go into turn 2 as they emerged from the final corner, one after the other. There we go. So yeah, Finn was on the offensive, now a little bit on the back foot on the defensive, but we will see how that develops with the remaining laps. Bit of a wider line there from Finn UK. Adal managing to get the car rotated a bit earlier, which gave him a nice line through the sweeping. Oh, and heavy into the wall for Finn UK there. That will not have helped him at all. That will give him some lovely damage on that suspension geometry towards the end of the race. To the outside goes Adal. That becomes the inside for the hairpin. And if he's late enough on the brakes, that should be job done. Nope, Finn UK's got a run around the outside. Found some better traction there. But yes, then Adal is going to try and tuck into that slipstream and try and get it done on this lap. To the inside at the final corner. That's a brave one. Bends the dummy. And, well, again, Finn into the wall, slowing himself down. And Adal will be through. Too many mistakes there from Finn, Michael.
Yeah, I think after that hard case with the wall, now Finn UK will be struggling with steering into all level-handed turns.
Oh.
We see collision, but they both keep it around. Adal still in P13, now pretty much safe from Finn UK, who definitely has some damage on his suspension geometry.
Yeah, he's turned in a little bit too hard there. Go for it. This is Rick98 and Happy D.
Yeah, they're going side by side. Happy D is on the inside. Rick98 has a little case with the wall, but not too much of a damage. But he's in a nice slipstream, and I'm sure he will go into the inside. No, he doesn't. He's lifting. He's waiting for the main straight.
Yeah, but he's pushed wide. He's misjudged it entirely, and that's going to leave him susceptible to Roger Chen, who's just drawn straight past him on the inside. So by getting too close to the car in front there, Michael, Roger has been able to take full advantage of Rick 98's mistake there.
Yeah, this is the error for you in the fast turns, and he completely misjudged, and this is the punishment for him. Now Roger Chen is advanced into the P7, and I'm sure he's hungry for another position of car in front, which is Happy D, and another car in front now with almost 3 seconds advantage is just in P5.
Yeah, everybody's stringing out. We've got battles going on everywhere in the mid-pack, which is what we always tend to see. Doctor has left the pits but has emerged among the leaders, so he's going to lose time here, Michael, by having to let them all through. So not the best pit strategy, it would turn out, for Doctor. Maybe didn't quite realise how short the lap is here, and maybe even didn't realise how much time he'd lost. We will see. Oh no, he's done 2 stops according to our records here. So for some reason he's been in again, so potentially with some damage. So that explains how he's managed to lose so much time. Speaking of losing time, here are 2 drivers who are going for it, but losing time in the meantime. It's Rex and Stiefler. Rex in the red Ferrari livery there, and Stiefler behind. But now, looks like Rex has got through and is now clear.
Yeah, Stiefler falls into the P19. Meanwhile, Gabor is keeping his lead and has his stationary advantage of about 1.7 seconds over TJ. As True Alpha, aka Unicatella, is in P3 and 2.6 seconds behind. Botsi in 4th and Zesty in P5, just 5 seconds behind, so even after the round of pit stops, this order can still be shuffled. Gabor so far makes no mistakes, so I think he will emerge victorious tonight, as he's one of the strongest drivers when it comes to South City.
Yeah, we're 9 laps in. You can turn off now because Michael's already called the result. Clearly, you've never watched a sprint race in Fox Friday, Michael, because anything can happen, mate. But we'll see. 1.6 seconds the gap currently.
You can see who I'm rooting for.
Yeah, I, for sure. I mean, it's all right to make predictions. I'm not going to stop you from doing that. So, Happy D into the pits for his mandatory stop. And will it be a quick one? Yes, it is, but more importantly, where will Happy D re-emerge as we follow him out the pit lane? Well, it looks like that's, Senna Biart is going to go past, and it's possibly going to be Adal. Is it? Or no, there we go. Senna is just in the background there. This is a back marker that Happy D's come out in front of. That's Boy, and yeah, he's free and clear, which is a good stop there for Happy D. A better stop certainly than Doctor's second stop that brought him out in all that leader traffic.
Yeah, Boy has a lot of work to do now, moving out of the way for the faster cars, but he seems to be doing pretty well, even if he's somewhat slower. There's no apparent damage to his car, so I'm sure with some cars DNFing in front, he's probably safe to get into top 20, as RD2 is now supposedly battling with Texas. Yeah, there we go. He's possibly in the slipstream, but probably still too far behind to make the impression. Let's see how it goes into the braking zone. He's definitely gaining, still gaining, but doesn't go for the dive bomb and still keeps it behind. He's thinking twice about doing any difficult move that could cause some troubles. Finucane is meanwhile in the pit lane. Let's see how his pit stop goes. It should be no pit work stop, so about 1 second stationary. Let's see. And he's moving again, so yeah, just a quick no work, and he's going now in P20. He should remain in P20 after he rejoins the track. He's actually the last one on the lead as he's damaging his car trying to rejoin the track. So that's something you definitely don't want to do, as I believe he will have some damage and worse performance for the rest of this race.
Well, already we've seen him in the wall several times, and the car left the ground there. That jumped in the air after that impact. So, yep, Finucane for a difficult remaining 21 laps of this race. RD2 is in the slipstream of Texas again. RD2 getting quite a lot of screen time, and this has been a recurring theme of late. And as he goes around tries to go around the outside, it doesn't work. So where's the best part? Where's the best place to get past in the infield here, Michael? If you're faster than the car in front, the difficult one.
My honest opinion is there's no opportunity to pass in the infield, so I'm afraid RD2 has to wait for the last 2 straights of this circuit. Unless Texas makes some terrible mistakes, there's really no room that RD2 can utilize.
Yeah, it's single
but
file through
he's
there.
closing pretty much into the hairpin. Let's see if he's brave on the brakes. He's lifting, yeah, he's very careful, and no opportunistic move done either here. So let's see how it goes for him now at the back straight. I suspect he will stay behind and try to utilize the slipstream advantage on the main straight.
Yeah, didn't go for the move in the hairpin. Didn't go for a move under slipstream. He's going to leave it for the longest straight on the circuit, which is not really straight at all, but there's too much of a gap now. So let's turn our attention to Rick98, who's driving through the pit lane and off up the hill. And where will he rejoin? He was quite far up. Who's that in the background? That's Happy D. So he'll be out ahead of Happy D, I think, unless the pit exit is shockingly bad, which it isn't. And there you go, just ahead of Happy D comes Rick98.
Yeah, he remains in the top 10 so far. And I am sure Happy D is very upset about this outcome, as he surely wanted to stay in front of him, but there it goes. He has to make the move on the track, and that's what we want to see. Let's see how it goes for him now in this twisty part of the track. He's already losing some time in the dirty air, so I don't think he's anywhere close to make the move here. He's still behind. They both are doing pretty good way through the hairpin, and I'm afraid now Happy D is too far behind to utilize any of the slipstream onto the straight unless the car in front makes some significant mistake. But so far so good, and this order will remain unchanged at least for this lap.
Yeah, I mean, Happy D was lucky in a sense that he came out behind Rick98 so closely, so he could try something in the slipstream, but clearly Rick98's pace is too high at this point of the race. And interestingly, Rick98 does now lead the drivers who have already stopped. So Rick98 is the benchmark then in P10, and everybody ahead from P9 onwards is yet to pit. So that includes our race leader Gabor, as we lose someone there out of P12 from the race. That was Senna BR aborting race number 1, unfortunately. Reminder to everyone that Gabor is live on Twitch. You can check out his onboard at Sidus Gabor on Twitch. The handle there is in the bottom right of your screen, just above his name. So please go and check that out. We've got Onifus and Kirku in a bit of a tussle. It looks like Kirku has dropped back significantly, and I don't know what's going on, but Kirku's losing a ton of time. Well, Rocket's right there as well now. Kirku would normally be slightly further up the road, you'd think, than Rocket. So let's see what happens with his race. More action for RD2. He's finally having a go at trying to get past Texas. Texas made a mistake, and RD2 was able to have a go, but not enough to get past. As we cycle up the hill one more time, lap 15, and at some point RD2 is going to get bored of following that Red Bull, Michael.
Absolutely. I believe both of these cars are yet to pit, so it would be sensible for RD2 to dive into the pit lane, try the undercut, and get back onto the track ahead of Texas. But maybe he's enjoying battling it on the surface and remains behind. Maybe he's highly fueled and wants to pit as late as possible, or I think everyone is stopping with no pit park whatsoever. So far, he's a bit too far behind to make the use of the draft. He's slowly gaining, but is too far for the dive bomb, and he's still behind as we are almost halfway through the race, like lap 16 of 32. So at the end of this lap, we will be at 50% distance.
Yeah, cool onboard this, watching RD2 and Texas's pace. Texas was quite slow out of the final corner, and I thought that RD2 might just be able to snap up the slipstream, but potentially these drivers are using different wing angles. We can check the tyres that they've decided to use. Yeah, unsurprisingly, everybody using the R2s here at the moment. But here goes RD2 then down into the head, but he's braked again. He's lifted off. He's chosen the wrong side. He should have tried to send that to the inside, surely. And we'll get another chance here, Michael.
Yeah, I suspect he's lifting. He's definitely waiting for the main straight, but Texas is either struggling or lifting as well. They're now side by side into the final turn, and this is a perfect opportunity for RD2 to make the impression. Texas is weaving around, trying to break the slipstream. Now they are going side by side into this pseudo turn one, still side by side RD2 at the outside. Who's gonna break later? They're breaking at the same time. Texas is struggling, but keeps it in front so far still. And RD2 must be furious because he just can't get around and just has to wait another lap for another opportunity, because now they are in the place where overtaking is barely impossible, and Texas, I wanted to say Texas doesn't make that much mistakes, but now he just made a huge one. And
I would say that RD2 should definitely have taken your advice, Michael. He should have pitted, because he's losing way too much time now.
Yeah, he's lost a huge time, but looks now I think he's scared because this was a perfect opportunity and he seemed to back off. And let's see how it goes now. Again, a perfect opportunity with slipstream. He's still not pitting, stays behind, actually quite close, so he might go a little bit too wide for comfort, but he stays behind, about 0.2 seconds behind, and should be side by side into the braking zone. But yeah, it doesn't work for him, and I think he should be definitely pitting if he wants to gain some positions, because he's losing a ton of time here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is the closest fight we've got on track, so we'll stay with it for now. But yeah, this is a lesson on how not to treat a sprint race with a pit stop in it. If you lose this much time behind someone and you're still inside the top 10, it's time to bail early, get the pit stop done, then find someone else to fight if you're not making any progress. Unless, of course, you're just here to enjoy a good time and do some wheel-to-wheel racing. We haven't seen too many long battles, Michael, yet. This probably is going on for the longest battle we've had so far, and it's nice to see, but neither of these guys are winning this race.
Yeah, definitely, but maybe RD2 knows more than we do. Maybe he did some calculations and he knows that he would fall back into the heavy traffic, so he's waiting for a little bit more, but I think he's losing time either here or after the pit stop in the traffic, and so far he did few attempts, but always Texas came out victorious out of it. And let's see what's the gap in front of Texas. It's over 10 seconds to Roger Chen, so that's a huge margin they lost to cars in front, as they made another lap and no overtakes. So
it's
just
not the cars ahead they need to watch anymore, it's the cars behind who've already pitted. They're going to leapfrog them easily, because on the road there's only a 3-second gap back to Lucas, but yeah, where are they going to come out when the likes of Rick 98 and Happy D catch them? Well, the answer is they're going to be behind, because there's only a 6-second gap now between Rick 98 and RD2. So this isn't smart racing. It's good to watch, but strategically it's a disaster. We've got Alpacin and Rex on the charge as well. This battle, this group starting to close down. We've got Rex and Alpacin chasing down Adal, who we're going to ride on board with now. There you go, Alpacin squirreling on the brakes and kissing the Armco barrier on the left-hand side as he went for that one. And it looks like he's going to have to defend from Rex. That's Rex on the far side. Nope, Rex tucks back in. Again, another driver, Michael, waiting for the home straight. And it looks like Adal's been given some respite now.
Yeah, but it's all temporary, because the two guys behind are apparently way much faster. But I think Rex was a bit too close into the final turn and went wide and lost a lot of time, and now can get in front of Alpacin. So he will have to endure another train of cars in this, I'd call that infield section. Adal has to go defensive for Alpazan, but unless you make some serious mistakes, there's not much room for overtaking. But the two guys behind are definitely trying. They're now side by side, and it looks like oh no, and that's just contact we don't want to see. Alpazan is now facing backwards, losing time and position as we speak. He's now P15, and I'm sure he has some significant damage to his suspension, so that's definitely not the race going his way.
Yeah, he'll have some words to say about that. But, side by side up that hill, you've got to leave the driver some room, or else you're going to come side by side and it's going to go all Pete Tong. And that's not gone well for Al at all. He'll have to recover there from P15, which is a big ask now to try and catch up. But at least he has some clear track.
Yeah,
RD2's gone to the pits and is back out in P11.
Yeah, he's finally pitted, and let's watch him and Texas going around. As if RD2 doesn't make any mistake, he should be ahead of Texas after he makes the pit stop. But the Texas has still about 10 laps to do so. So there's definitely some big window in which we have to wait for the final result. But judging by his line, I think he's going for the pit stop now. Yeah, there he goes. So he knows he's slower in the open air and has to cover the undercut from the race green RD2. Let's watch and see how it goes for him. Again, it should be about 1 second stationary with no pit work, as he's moving now down to the P10. RD2 is in P11, so the very next car coming around, he's now out of the slow zone. I still can see RD2, so maybe
Texas has had a good start.
Is fine.
Yeah. Texas has come out leagues ahead of RD2. There's the gap. Texas has made a really nice stop. RD2 has lost time, and he'll be furious that he's come out. That Texas has come out ahead of him. But that's what happens if you don't make a decision early. It doesn't always go your way later on. We haven't given Gabor any airtime in the last 10 laps, but he has 10 to go 10 to go including this one now as he ticks the counter over to lap 23. It's TJ in P2, World Class Lions True Alpha, otherwise known as Yoni Katilla, in P3. Onifus has just managed to get past Rex in all of the confusion up the hill, and Onifus is now on the back of Adal again. So after the car explosion we saw before Michael, Adal and Onifus back together.
Yeah, it was pretty easy overtake for Onifus, and he's already ahead of Adal. I think Adal is having some technical difficulties, maybe because he's already under the pressure from another car, good driver Rex, who's already on the inside of the next turn. Let's see if he can utilize now the free slipstream, but he seems to be losing a lot of time, so there might be some technical difficulties for him because he's already too far behind for the payback, and it's P13 for good drivers Rex and P14 for Adal, who seems to be struggling with less than 10 laps to go in this race.
Rick98 is making gains on his teammate. We've got two fantastic liveries here. Rick98 has already stopped, Lucas has not, so this is going to be a bit of a procedure really. There's not really much that Lucas needs to do here. Rick98 is on a different strategy to him, their teammates, so and Lucas is, what's gone on there? I don't know if he's lagging or something, but massively slowed down. Spooked Rick a little bit. Rick had a bit of a wobble there and wasn't really sure what was going on, but is through on Lucas. We do have the cars pretty much spread out here. South City Town Core is not lending itself to too much wheel-to-wheel racing after 24 laps, but That's not to say that there aren't still some, strategic races going on out there. We've still got a lot of cars yet to pit. If we check out this graphic, you can see a number of our top runners, everyone from P1 to 5, and Lucas there in P8, still yet to pit within the next 8 laps now, as Gabor finishes lap 24.
Yeah, so far Zesty is the leader of those who did their mandatory pit stop. He's 24.5 seconds behind the leader, Gabor. Now I am not entirely sure how much time is lost doing the mandatory pit stop, but I am sure Gabor will emerge in front of Zesty at least. Let's see how it will go as we are watching back of the stuff. Not anymore. Now we are watching his teammate from Master Race Car Zesty in P6, the leader of those who did their mandatory pit stop. So far he's doing very well, very clean and smooth ride. He's some sort of smooth operator. As we are just about 7.5 laps to go, we are now watching Gabor leading this race, coming around the fender. We lost someone from, I believe it was P8.
Rick 98's
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
He's lost connection, unfortunately. So that's the end of his race. That's a shame, because he was doing well there, carving his way through the field.
Yeah, that's another car down. We are now down to 20 cars, with Fenuke being the unfortunate last one. Probably after the hard wall hit he had early in the race. Meanwhile, at the opposite end of the spectrum is Gabor, as he's leading with over 4 seconds advantage over TJ from Road to Preza. And we have less than 7 laps to go. Reminder that Gabor, TJ, Yonik Attila, Butsi and Rogerchen all have to make their mandatory pit stops, while Zesty in P6 doesn't have, so let's see how this will shuffle the final order in the remaining laps.
Yeah, stay on your seats, folks. There's going to be some interesting shuffling going on when the top few drivers decide to finally make their stops. Where are they going to come out? Probably Gabor and I'd say TJ will most likely be safe from Zesty. It doesn't take that long to get down the pit lane, but you never know. It depends on Zesty's pace over the next few laps. He looks absolutely on it, leading everyone who has already stopped. He is our benchmark, who will come out and disrupt Zesty's day. He's been on his own for a while, a bit of free air, a bit of clean air, but I'm pretty sure he would love to be on the podium at the very least. Looks like it could be on, to be honest. You do lose some time in the pit lane, of course. And, well, Zesty is 8 seconds off of Roger Chen, but only about 16 seconds off the lead overall. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I believe Zesty, unless he makes some terrible mistakes, probably could snatch a podium here, but it's still 6 laps to go. Meanwhile, as I'm watching the timing tower, RD2 is now quite close to Texas again. Now, due to DNFs of cars ahead, he's now in top 10 again, but doing some Ferrari strategies, he is still unable to overtake Texas from Master Race Car in P9. As DJ is now quite uncomfortably close to the True Alpha, the Yonik Attila in P3, but so far there's about 1 second difference in between them, and that's enough for TJ to stay in the safe distance. But I hear in my ear that Botsi is about to lap. He's already lapped Finn UK, so that's I believe 2 laps down for Finn UK. As Botsi is in P4 and Yon is every little corner closing down to TJ. Now only 0.6 of a second in between them. And if TJ makes the mistakes in the final or penultimate turn, then Yoni definitely can have some good call onto the braking zone into turn 1. Let's see how it goes as they are about to reach the slowest point of the track, the hard right-hander hairpin. It's actually the under the hill hairpin. Easy to look up here, but that doesn't really matter in the sprint race where you don't have to watch after your tires. And now it's half a second in between TJ and Yonik Attila. which is not enough for Yoni to take advantage of the slipstream. He might gain a little bit, but he definitely won't be side by side with him at the end of the straight.
No, definitely not. But Gabor has been in the pit lane, and now we need to watch to see where he comes out in relation to Zesty. There goes Botsy, and there is going to be a large amount of time as it happens between Gabor and Zesty. He's going to be well ahead of Roger Chen, and here comes Zesty across start finish now. So there's the benchmark. That's the gap that the other drivers have to fill if they want to stay ahead of Zesty. Zesty's been putting in some good laps, but Gabor has the measure of him. Roger Chen here in P5, not quite able to get close to Gabor when he came out. So Roger, also one of the drivers who is yet to stop. And the only other driver behind him who needs to stop so far is Lucas. So Roger might want to start thinking about that sooner rather than later, as we are on lap 29.32, 2 to go after this one, and TJ will lead a lap. He will be registered as the leader of lap number 29. He did not come into the pit lane. He's going to wait until the end of the following lap probably before he comes in. He's going to leave it as late as possible and give himself the best chance to get past Gabor if it's even possible. Botsy's gone through on Yoni as Yoni's in the pit lane, just exiting now. And as Yoni heads up the hill, then where is he going to come out? Is he going to come out near Zesty? Probably not. Gabor is well through, and there is Zesty, only just coming under the underpass, about what I'd say a couple of 100 meters behind Yoni. But who else have we got left? We've got Botsy, we've got TJ, and we've got Roger Chen. How many more places is Zesty going to make up in this race?
It's a question we will find answer for in less than 3 laps, as TJ is now about to complete the lap 30, and just 2 more laps will be then ready to be unrevealed, as he's still not pitting, so he's definitely pitting at the end of the following lap, because that will be the absolutely last opportunity, and if he doesn't so, he will be probably disqualified. As Master Race Car Texas is in traffic, Rocket is now moving away and now giving a hard time to RD2, who's having to move away. Roger Chen has stopped at the end of lap 30. Lucas pits as well from P7, now already drops to P8. Let's see where he rejoins. Roger Chen is now behind Zesty, as he rejoining pretty safely in P6, no car in front, no car behind, as Zesty is slapping the back marker now in P5, and only car ahead yet to stop is Botsy in P2.
Yeah, Botsy has to come in.
And TJ, sorry.
Yeah, Botsy has to come in at the end of this lap, so too does TJ. TJ will be the first driver into pit lane, there he is, and should come out comfortably in P2. But where will Botsy emerge? Botsy has a 6-second gap to TJ at the previous sector line. That's going to be round about Zesty, I'd imagine. I think it's the closest shot we've got as Botsy comes into the pit lane, and it's a quickish stop. It's not the quickest in the world, but it should be quick enough. But no, it won't be. Zesty is going to speed through. Where is Botsy? Is Botsy going to make it? No, I don't think he is. Zesty's through on our timing tower and is through when Botsy re-emerges by a couple of seconds, or just under a couple of seconds there. So good effort from Botsy. From Zesty there to do the undercut.
Yeah, that's everyone in the pit lane done their pit fork, as we are in the final lap and we are watching Gabor just pretty much cruising around, because he has almost 6-second advantage over TJ in P2, who's been chased by Yoni Katila, aka True Alpha, in P3. They are pretty close, but the time is running out for Yoni, as only one turn is now in between TJ and P2 in the finish of this race.
Yeah, Gabor exits the final corner and sets his sights on yet another win in Fragmaster's Fox Friday. This, the first of two races tonight. Gabor is your winner of race one. Then it's going to be TJ who manages to hold off Yoni Katila for P2. Yoni will round out our podium, and then a very well-deserved P4. Best of the rest for Zesty. Not far off in the end, Michael. Only a handful of seconds really at the end. Botsy will be a little bit annoyed that he got P5, I reckon. I think he had it in the tank to get a better result than that. Roger Chen finishes in P6. Then it's Happy D coming across the line. And then next it will be Texas for Master Race Car. He was having a race all night long with RD2, who will have to settle for P7. For P9 there in the end. So Texas P8 and RD2 in P9. Next across the line, it was Lucas and Onifus, but it does look like we're going to have a battle to the line here. This is Al Payson and who is that? Rex ahead as well, and Al's not going to make it. Rex is going to steal the next position. That'll be P12 away from Al. Oh, a spectacular end to the race for Rex there. And that is everyone. We'll do the full rundown. Then there'll be a short pause before the beginning of another 32-lap race here this afternoon. Yeah, that was epic, Michael. Let's get a look at those results. In 39 minutes, 0.22, it's Sidus Gabor ahead of Road Appraiser TJ with world-class lines Yoni Katila there in P3, our podium for race number one. Best of the rest, it was Zesty, followed by Botsy, Roger Chen, Happy D, Texas, RD2, and Road Appraiser Lucas. Next we had Fragmaster's Onifus, the highest placed Fragmaster car there, just in P11. Then we've got Rex in P12, Payson, Dr. Adal, Kirku87, Friends United Rocket, Stiefler Boy, and Finn UK, your final finisher. A couple of DNFs to report, unfortunately, but that was Rick98 with a timeout quite late in the race. Senna BR there, Team America's joiner, Pedro BR, Semihist, DZ, and Yassin, the 27 cars that started. And you can see there at the bottom that it was Sidus Gabor who registered the fastest lap with a 1 minute 12.53. And yeah, the drivers in the background will get ready for the second race. And we will get going for that in probably a few minutes' time. I reckon the drivers will be given about 5 minutes to go for a comfort break. And that's what we're going to do here too. We will have a reversed top 15, we believe, which means our pole sitter should be, Michael, Adal.
You're absolutely right. Adal will be at the pole position, followed by Dr. Alpazan, Good Drivers Rex, and Onifus in P5. Meanwhile, the race winner Gabor will have to start from P15, and on this track, it will be a huge challenge. So, as I was sure he will win the race number one, as you probably recall, I am not very convinced about the race number two because there's a lot of work for him, and you know what? I think he won't make it into the best place.
Well, it's going to be Gabor starting all the way down in P15. It's going to be a tall order. We're going to have a spicy race too. This is the main event, the feature race of round number 38. So yeah, thanks for tuning in to Sim Broadcast. Once again, we are well into our third year of broadcasting sim racing in Live for Speed. I can't believe it's been almost, well, yeah, we're coming up to just over 3.5 years of broadcasts here, and Fragmaster's Fox Friday, one of the longest running, or if not the longest running weekly championship series in Live for Speed, continues to grace our screens. And yeah, that was race one done. We'll be back in just a moment's time for the start of race two. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the action. We're going to have a second 32-lap race around South City Town Course. The drivers are ready to go, and we have cars on the track. Yeah, so Michael, as with race 1, please grace us with your lovely voice for the start of race number 2 of 2 for round 38 of Fragmaster's Fox Friday in 2023.
And with my lovely voice, I'm saying we are going green in South City, as Adal is starting very well from the pole position. And last race winner Gabor from P15. Let's see how they will end up in 32 laps time, as they go 3 wide. And Adal is already in P3, as it is, I believe, good driver's Rex in the first place. Now Adal is in P2. I'm now slightly confused, but good driver's Rex is in P4 behind Alpazon. And it's actually Road to Preza Doctor who jumped Adal and is now leading the race. It's Adal in P2, Alpazon in P3, Rex and Onifus in the top 5. So far, no heavy collisions, as they are going now single file into the slow hairpin at the end of lap 1. Now Adal and Alpazon side by side, and Alpazon is ahead in P3. My bad. It's no
you made a good move there. Onifus is also going around Rex here, and that makes it 2 Fragmaster drivers trying to push themselves to the front. But Rex has got a bit of a run back here, Michael, going around the outside into turn number 1. And under the bridge they go. We've got some drivers in the pit lane, including Gabor, Lucas, SD, RD2, a whole gaggle of cars going into the pit lane together, which, look at the amount of cars, Michael, exiting the pit lane at the same time. Gabor will not be happy with the number of cars that are currently in front of him, because he's got to do a lot of work now to weave through, while the likes of Doctor and Onifus and Adal and Alpayson get to open up the gap at the front. Mind you, it's as busy here as it was there.
Yeah, this is a fantastic train of cars behind Alpayson, who's now going defensive from Adal. He doesn't try. He goes again.
This collision. Race 1, and it's happened again. Adal has been into the back of Al, and he spun him round. Al is going to be fuming, and he's almost rejoined in front of Rocket there. Absolute scenes here down at the hairpin. But Adal, what was he thinking? Very, very aggressive driving there. Not a good look from pole position, as Doctor streaks across start-finish with an absolutely massive lead over Rex and Texas and Roger Chen and TJ registering the fastest lap there. Onifus some way back in P6. Where is the first of our drivers who have already pitted? Some way down by the looks of it. Here comes Onifus out into P6 there, and ahead of Adal.
Onifus had some collision with the wall, so I think he will have some damage to his right side of the car. The opportunistic move we saw before was a huge gift to Doctor, who now has almost 4 seconds lead over Rex in P2. We are watching Happy D in P13, and a huge ball of cars around P17, as Gabor and Yannick Attila are now going side by side.
2 by 2, 2 by 2, and Yoni gets forced to the back entirely there. Gabor had to slow down as well, and actually Yoni has just decided to retire. An absolute shame there. I thought we were going to get a battle all race long between Gabor and Yoni, but 2 into that corner does not go, especially if you're following another 2 cars. And they found that out the hard way, and somehow Gabor gets through unscathed, but he lost a lot of time. The car almost came to a standstill, Michael.
Yeah, there's a lot of unnecessary contact, but it almost looked like they are capable of going side by side in that I'd call bus stop chicane, but it came out as a disappointment for Yoni, and he decided to retire, which I kind of understand his frustration. As we are watching Gabor now in P15, where he essentially started, but let's not forget he's already after the pit stop. And so far, Road to Preza Lucas is the leader of the group of cars that made their pit stop. He's now in P9.
Yeah, 6 seconds the gap actually between Lucas and Gabor now.
Yes, so it's definitely reachable for Gabor, but so far he's in P15, as TJ is now battling with Texas for P3. TJ goes for the inside and backs off into the final turn. He's sensibly waiting for the slipstream opportunity at this back straight, as Texas is in the sandwich of two Ferrari-looking cars. But the time differences are too big for the slipstream to be effective, and they will remain in this order for the at least next few corners.
Yeah, TJ now wants to get through. He absolutely wants to get through on Texas because Gabor has been held up. This is the fastest lap is trading between Gabor and TJ. Even though Gabor is in traffic as well, he's still managing to steal the fastest lap away from TJ every time he goes past start finish at the moment. And then TJ grabs it on the next time round. But TJ won't be getting any fastest laps this lap. There we go, onto the inside, and there was almost contact was there with Texas. There was contact. Texas all over the place out of the hill climb section, and well, TJ actually was quite lucky to keep it pointing in the same direction there, because with the contact he could have easily been spun around. Gabor gets past Stiefler up to P14, TJ up to P3 after a janky move past Texas, and more fights going on further down. We've got Lucas, the cork in the bottle, Michael.
Yeah, he's now fighting with my teammate Happy D. They are now going side by side, but Happy D seems to be backing off. Yeah, just a sensible solution for overtaking here, as he's waiting for the slipstream on the actually on the main straight, but he seems to be losing time, and instead Roger Chen is now gaining on him. They are about to go side by side as of now. Roger Chen on the outside of this quick turn one, still side by side. Let's see who's braver on the brakes. And it looks like Roger Chen is capable of making the pass stick around the outside of the turn one. And Justin now slots behind. And it's some Sidus car. It's Botsi in P12 trying to take advantage of Happy D and makes the pass into P11. So it's now Roger Chen in P10, Botsi in P11, and Happy D in P12, my apologies. We are now watching Doctor in P1. He's yet to stop, but he has comfortable lead over the second car on the track, Rex. There's about, I think, 4 or 5 seconds advantage for him, as Rex is being chastened by TJ. He's less than a second behind, and I think within this or the very next lap, they will be in the furious battle for the second place in this race.
Yeah, TJ doesn't want to lose any more time. Gabor is coming, whether he likes it or not. The order has shuffled itself out such that all of the drivers who are yet to stop are now at the front. But TJ, if he loses any more time behind Rex, is going to start to lose any advantage he had from the misfortune of other drivers around him. Lucas is out. Lucas has left the race. He's had a crash, and we are down to 18 drivers in race 2. Not surprising. The rate of attrition in race 2 with a reverse grid always likely to be higher than that of race 1. But now, Michael, TJ in the slipstream of Rex in the same livery, not teammates, but using the same livery down to the final corner, as Gabor also is going for a big send. Let's watch this up the inside of the hairpin on RD2, and that's job done. Back to the front.
Yeah, as we are watching TJ and good drivers Rex going very hard into the braking zone of turn 1, they are both wearing the Ferrari skin, which brings me some bad memories from real Formula 1 races, but so far they managed to stay out of trouble. And let's see if TJ is capable of making a clean pass on Rex, who's 3.6 seconds behind the leader, Doctor, who's the provisional leader of the race, but he's yet to pit. So does Rex and so does TJ. So let's see how it goes for them. At the back, we have a battle between Zesty and Fin UK. They are now going side by side in turn 1. Fin UK on the inside. There's little collision, but no damage. Apparently, don't do them. But Fin UK makes it stick in front of Zesty, who, after a great finish with P4 in race 1, is now in P17, and I think he's having some miserable times. Now struggling in the dirty air of Fin UK as we are going through a very twisty section of this track. He definitely looks to be faster, but he's struggling so much. As TJ is now into the pit lane, he's decided to undercut Rex. Let's see how it goes for him. It will be a very quick pit stop. Again, probably 1 second stationary, as he's moving already down to P5. He's probably gonna lose a few more places before he rejoins. But as long as he's back on the track outside of some major traffic, he should be pretty well in comparison to his nearest opponent, as Roger Chan now is already behind TJ. And let's see if Good Drivers Rex will respond this lap and pit, or if he decides to stay ahead and do some quick laps instead. But TJ rejoins in P6. As Onefus is now in battle with Texas for P4. They are not going side by side into the hairpin. Onefus thinks twice before trying anything. But he's in a pretty comfortable position to try something into the final turn. Will he lift? No, they are going side by side, apparently. Still side by side. Onefus on the inside, still side by side. Texas now seems to have a little bit more pace from being on the outside line, which is faster when going this way, but not fast enough to slot ahead, so they are going side by side into the braking zone, and it will be now a battle on the brakes. And Onefus seems to be braver, and accordingly he slots ahead and is currently on the provisional final podium step in P3. Texas now in trouble, but keeps it together and has to be somewhat happy with P4 at the moment.
Both of them did a synchronized slide through turn 3 there, very unusual. Don't know if there was contact or lag or something, but both of them made the same sort of drift through there. And someone who's very comfortable out front currently, leading by 3.8 seconds, it's Doctor. Now, there's a 22-second gap between him and Gabor. That is a sizable, healthy gap. What does Doctor do? Does he pit early once he's got a bit of a gap to the cars behind him so that he can cover any undercut from Gabor? Or does he stay out until the end? What do you think? Or is he just going to monitor that time?
I believe that Doctor will pit on the very last occasion, because there is no sense of advantage of pitting now. He's only risking of going into some heavy traffic. Meanwhile, now in the lead and clean air, he's just about to do his pace, his fast laps, and that's the best he can do. As we are watching Rick 98 battling it with Alpazon side by side into the final turn, as Alpazon goes sideways, but so does Rick 98. And now it's a three-way battle as Happy D, it's Zesty going side by side with Alpazon. Happy D on the outside, Alpazon on the inside. Again, it will be the battle of the bravery on the brakes into this turn 1, but has to stay behind this collision, and Alpazon hits the wall after his rear wheels had a collision with the front wing of Zesty. But no heavy damage done to either of those cars, and they are losing a lot of time to the car ahead, which, if I remember correctly, was Rick 98, who now has about 2 seconds advantage over them, as he is trying hard to overtake it. Alpazon is studying hard. He's done some weird mistake, probably too much on the inside, and now is on the way to stay safe is to let Zesty by. So that's P15 for Zesty and P16 for Alpazon, who's struggling at this point of the race. I don't know if his tires are maybe a little overheated. I can judge from this point of view, but Zesty is definitely making progression and is now in P15.
Yeah, Al's right-hand tyres are pretty hot, so that would explain the weird motion that you saw from his car just before. Rex doing a good job here in P2, 4.8 seconds back. Then we've got Onifus for Fragmaster, currently, as you said, occupying the final step on the podium. Next, it's Master Race Cars Texas in P4 with Adal there for PSR in P5. Then we've got TJ for Road Appraiser, who seems to be closing up quite quickly. And Zesty has, sorry, not Zesty. Somebody has headed into the pit lane. Sorry, TJ was first to pit in the race, my mistake. And he is currently chasing down Adal, and it looks like that's a sure bet at some point. So let's see how quickly that happens. There's 18 seconds then between TJ and our race leader, Doctor, and 21.4 seconds between Gabor. And speaking of Gabor, here's his teammate Botsy fighting with Gabor, and Gabor is through.
Yeah, apparently that wasn't much of a fight, as I suspect Botsy was just letting Gabor through. But right behind them it's Happy D, who's about less than 4 seconds behind, now in top 10, and I'm sure he wants to advance a few more places before the race finishes in less than 20 laps to go. But it's currently Gabor in P8 with the fastest lap, as you can see the purple color next to his name in the timing table. TJ is now very close to Adolf. Let's see if he goes for the inside. There he goes. He decided not to wait for the opportunity at the back straight. Let's see if it doesn't fire back. As he goes pretty wide, and Adolf has to make some avoidance maneuver to stay safe. TJ now seems to be in somewhat a safe position, but TJ is going defensive. There was little collision touch of the rear and front of each car, but Adol couldn't place his car alongside TJ and has to stick with P6 for the time being.
Yeah, good fight that down the back straight, but Adal's job isn't over. There's some charging cars right behind. We've got Roger Chen immediately on the scene, and oh dear, Adal's dropped the car in sympathy, and it's Gabor versus Roger Chen on our screens now. Then the man with the fastest lap, the purple number there, the number 7. He wants that to be a number 1 eventually in this race, but first of all, it's got to become a number 6, and that requires getting past the number 23 of Roger Chen. To the inside, Gabor will go, and it's a clean pass. It's one of the first times we've seen a properly clean pass into the final corner. But Gabor makes it look easy, but will Roger decide to come back at him or stick behind? Yeah, no such luck, Gabor. Roger's coming back at you. You'll have to give him some room on the outside. Yep, does that. Now what's Roger going to do? Is he going to try and send it around the outside? Surely not on Gabor. No, it's all over. At least now for the infield. Gabor has the measure of Roger Chen through and up to that P6. Next on his agenda is TJ, 2.1 seconds ahead.
Yeah, let's not forget that the guys ahead of Gabor are yet to pit. Gabor is now having better pace than everyone in front. He's now only 20.3 seconds behind the leader Doctor. So they should be pretty close after the leader of the race pits at the end of this race, I believe. But so far Gabor is still outside of top 5 with 20 seconds, no, perfect 20 seconds difference in between him and the race leader. Zepedi is about to fight Adol. They make clean run through the final turn, and let's see if Zepedi has enough of overspeed to make pass on the Adol. He seems to be probably too much behind to make the pass, but if he's brave enough on the brakes here, he can make it, but he decides to wait a little bit, because we have already seen a bit of opportunistic maneuvers going wrong. And speaking of opportunistic maneuvers, now Happy D makes one perfectly and moves up to P9. And the next target is Botsi, which is about 3.5 seconds ahead of him. Meanwhile, in P11, RD2 has come back to idle, and he's definitely wanting to make some advantage as well. His son, that Happy D, can make the pass in a very entertaining manner, so it's only a matter of time before RD2 tries something as well. And he doesn't have to wait very long because Idol made a mistake, and now it's an opportunity for Race Green's RD2 to make the impression as well. He's going for inside, but I'm sure he will be lifting, as he does. Probably goes a little bit too wide for his comfort, but he's probably close enough to catch up before the braking zone. I can already see him catching up.
Yeah, it's going to be close.
Very tight.
It's going to be close. He goes to the outside. Adal decides he wants to defend this one. And defend it he will. That was a good early move, a good early decision there from Adal, Michael, to move over and defend that. Good racing. Oh, but loses it on the exit of turn 3. They almost collect each other, RD2 on the brakes to try and avoid it. And, well, that could have been a lot worse. Botsy is closing up to the back of Roger Chen as we head down to the hairpin. Botsy trying to get the lucky number 7 next to his name instead of Roger. And that's Gabor just flashing through the bottom shot there. So yeah, Botsy pretty close to his teammate, but probably not going to be able to catch him on pure pace here today. He has to hope for some sort of mishap with his teammate. As Botsy, yeah, struggling to get past Roger onto the rundown to the final corner. But out onto the banking, out onto that curbing that you can drive all the way over. Used to be able to do that, but now you can in the latest version of South City. And yeah, Botsy couldn't get past on the home straight, so another grueling set of corners on the infield to have to follow another car through. Uncomfortable, as there's not really that many opportunities to get past. Probably the hairpin just before the straights. But yeah, if Botsy fancies it somewhere, it's going to be the run up the hill and down into the hairpin. Here he goes. Oh no, he's got the rears come way out on him, and that has cost him a whole bunch of time. He's going to be nowhere near Roger when he gets to the hairpin. Meanwhile, Michael, Doctor is still leading this race comfortably, and as you said, it looks like he's committed to the end. There is now an 18-second gap between himself and Gabor. That's come down by at least 6 seconds while we've been watching. Here's some fighting with Adal. We've got Pekka Koivunen, who we haven't talked about much at all today. He's on the outside with a rather bent front end.
Yeah, and it's actually a three-way battle between Adal, Koivunen, and I believe it's Mugello in behind them. As they are fighting height, Adal is now on the outside, Koivunen on the inside, and Mugello he probably has to wait, but he's very opportunistic. And it was close, almost contact, but Adal seems to be losing 2 places in one straight. So that's from 11th to 13th. And back as Mugello advances to P12, and in P11 it's World Class Lions Peter Koivunen. As these two are probably gonna fight for the very same place, but not here because this is the place where you can't overtake. However, Mugello is having a very strong race tonight, currently in P12, and he seems to be having a good pace, so he can have a top 10 finish by the end of this race. Let's see how it goes for him, as he's a bit too far into the hairpin of this particular lap 20. At the end of this lap, we will be just 12 laps to go, and Gabor is only 17 seconds behind leader Doctor. And I think that's about how much time you lose when you make the mandatory pit stop. So I suspect that after Doctor makes the pit stop, Gabor will be safely ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, that means that Doctor won't be doing any defending on track. It looks like it's going to be over before he even gets the chance. It's gone under 17 seconds now, so Yeah, looks likely to transpire what you just said, Michael, as we continue to follow Negrio, who I don't believe was involved in race 1, is joined for race 2. Doctor then will come around and probably won't go in the pit lane. Blissfully unaware that Gabor is gaining on him hand over fist, but he doesn't care. He's enjoying his race and enjoying his time in the limelight at the lead of the race, and why not? So he should. Then it's Rex with Onifus right behind. This could be an interesting development. Can Onifus catch and pass Rex before the end, or can Rex defend? Rex showed before that he has some pretty strong pace actually in this car at this track, holding his own there in P2. But we will keep an eye on that development. Meanwhile, in P4, best of the rest at the moment is Texas in that Red Bull livery with TJ trying to do something behind. TJ still the first of the drivers who has made a pit stop, so the battle between him and Gabor is at the forefront of our list of things to talk about here, because the gap to Gabor is only 1.2 seconds. Disaster for Adal. Adal has spun and is just rejoining after the exit of turn number 1, so from bad to worse for the PSR driver there. 14th place now.
And as we are at the beginning of lap 22, Doctor is still leading over good drivers Rex and Onifus in P3. Less than 6 seconds separating the top 3. As we switch to Peter Koivunen and Mugrilo, fighting hard with some light contact. But so far it's still Pekka Koivunen leading this particular battle. And he pits and bends into the wall. He might have some small damage to his right tires, but I am sure he will not bother with repairing because, yeah, he's already going. So that was 1 second stationary, and he has finished his mandatory stop now, dropping to P14 and probably will be P15 by now. As Finn UK is now side by side with Friends United Racket. Racket on the outside, Finn UK on the inside. Racket backs off and will try to get back just about now. He is right on the tail and they are now side by side. Finn UK now on the outside, Racket on the inside, and almost a contact, but looks like Finn UK goes for the deep dive on the inside. As we are switching to Onifus and back to the battle of a few Racket and Finn UK, who switch the places, and now it's again Racket in P17 and his nearest opponent Finn UK in P16. And this will probably stay for a few more turns as they are now in the infield where overtaking is barely possible. Onifus is returning after his mandatory pit stop into P8 behind Gabor, Botsi, Roger Chen, and just closely in front of PD in P9.
Yeah, he lost a lot of time, actually. So a number of cars managing to get past. Currently resumes into P5 overall. That's what that translates into, with the likes of Dr. Rex and Texas yet to make their mandatory pit stop at the front of the field. So yeah, TJ looks good, but how much pace has Gabor got in that car? He's getting closer. He's going to potentially get the slipstream, and we're going to see a battle for the net lead of the race at some point within the remaining 8 laps as TJ comes around the final corner. And you can see both of our potential podium there as we go over start finish for the 24th time of asking. We do begin 8 laps to go at the end of this one, and it's TJ leading from Gabor just now. But look, Gabor so strong on the brakes as always, bringing that gap down in front of our very eyes. And I don't know if it's going to be a grandstand finish. It might be done slightly before that if TJ can't open that gap up. Botsi meanwhile in P6, Roger Chen just behind. Onifus there trying to get something out of this race, maybe a place, maybe 2 places at best if he can get up to the guys in front. Then it's Happy D in P9 and RD2 for Race Green rounds out your top 10. Gabor is now right on TJ, Michael. Take it away.
Yeah, Gabor is right on the tail of TJ. He's probably a little bit too far for the use of the slipstream, but TJ has gone very wide. And now I think it's a perfect opportunity for Gabor to make the impression. Let's see how it goes. He's still a bit too far, but if he's brave enough on the brake, and we know that Gabor is really good on the brakes, he can make the attempt, but he decides to stay behind. He's right on the tail, and I think within the end of this lap, we will see at least one overtaking opportunity from Gabor. And if you want to watch the race from Gabor's point of view, you can watch his view on Twitch. As you can see, his Twitch name right next to the first pit name on the bottom right corner.
Yeah, absolutely. A nice way to enjoy the race. Pull up a few point of views while you're watching, and you can check out all of the different angles of all the drivers who are live streaming while racing with us today. Now, TJ has just about managed to squeak away out of the slipstream, but he has someone right in front. One of the back markers. It's Texas. He's not a back marker actually. He's just yet to pit. So my mistake. Sorry, Texas. But yeah, these two are going to have to figure out how to get past Texas as well here, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure Texas will not cause any significant trouble for them, but he won't make it easy either, as Gabor is still just a few tenths behind TJ, but so far no clear move to the inside, so I think he's waiting for some perfect opportunity, and he has less than 7 laps to do so he might be running out of time, but they are almost side by side as TJ goes wide. I don't know if his tires are getting somewhat hot, but probably not at this stage of the race, but this is the perfect opportunity for Gabor to make the move there nice side by side. Gabor on the outside in the white car, on the inside TJ in the red Ferrari car. He stays in front, and Gabor lines up for another attempt. TJ goes heavily defensive on the inside. Still side by side. Gabor. Oh, there was contact. Gabor's in the wall.
Well, that's
let's see if he can recover, but this was a very big hit for him and can impact his remaining race.
Yeah, that was unusual. Couldn't quite see it from that camera angle whether TJ moved over, but it looked like that Gabor turned in a little bit early, potentially. So yeah, unusual contact between our two net race leaders here, but well, some excitement. We have a rapidly dwindling number of laps. We've got Gabor with some inevitable right side geometry damage to the front and rear suspension there, and well, TJ is still ahead of him. So what is going to happen here? Can Gabor get it? Oh no, he's in the wall again. So even more time being lost, and TJ will be licking his chops as he drives around here, thinking, have I managed to do it?
Yeah, that was some high velocity rendezvous for these two cars, and Gabor definitely paid a high price, and he's now out of shape. I still think he's capable of catching TJ, but he might have some heavy togs now in his head, and it will be really difficult to catch and overtake. Let's see how it goes for him, as we are on about 4 laps till the finish, so now that's the point where Gabor would be running out of time. But also who's running out of time for the mandatory pit stop is Dr. Rex and Texas, who still have to make one, and they are now limited in the amount of opportunities where they can deploy it, as we are less than 5 laps to go, and that means very few actual opportunities to make the pass, as we are watching Finucane battling it with Adal for P15. And looks like Texas is catching them pretty well. And let's not forget that Texas is 1 lap up on these two, so they have to let him go, which might impact their battle in the end. let's see how well they will do. Meanwhile, I believe Zesty and McElroy are in the battle for P11. Yeah, there I go. McElroy is leading Zesty as we are in this twisty section, but Zesty can't make the move into the hairpin now, although he's somewhat very at the back, so he's better to wait. As Rex is now finally in the pit lane, dropping to P5. He's already done his pit stop and is about to be overtaken by some Mercedes livery. Yeah, that's Onifus in P8, no P7, so it's P8 for Good Drivers Rex, and that leaves only Doctor and Texas at the front to do their military pit stops in what would be only 3 laps to go at the end of this lap. TJ's in the traffic, which will give some advantage to Gabor, which he would be able to catch him. Idol is giving the place, so he does to Gabor, and they are again pretty close to each other, so let's see how it unveils in the last 3 laps.
Yeah, we are going to get the grandstand finish. We thought we might, but is it going to be too late, too little too late for Gabor? TJ's had a heck of a run of it here. He's had a lot of traffic, and Gabor's going to be held back by Fin UK again. So the traffic affecting both of our front runners here. That wasn't Fin UK's fault. That's just the way that the luck of the dice rolled. But yes, Gabor is definitely the gap between TJ and Gabor has definitely opened up now. So Gabor is going to have to dig very, very deep if he wants to win this race in the 3 laps that remain. We are almost 100%, in fact over 100% confident that Dr. Texas and TJ will drop back behind our lead 2 here. And unfortunately, yeah, that means the Doctor's run of lead laps will come to an end, almost certainly, unless something befalls our front runners here. We're watching Gabor. He's got the bit between his teeth. We don't like, well, he doesn't like seeing this happen, having a race unravel in front of his eyes, but it always happens in racing. There's always something that comes along and tries to spoil your day. And Doctor is in the pit lane, finally. Drops down to pit lane around this sweeping corner. Very, very thin pit entry. Does take a little bit of practice to get it right. But anyway, he's in and chooses the first pit box to make his stop. A very, very quick stop there for Doctor. And he's back on his way down to the exit of the pit lane. And yes, you heard it. These are the cars streaking through. It's Gabor and TJ swinging through. And Texas currently still leading the entire pack, but he has to come into the pit lane. So yeah, TJ is probably going to get slowed down a little bit here because Texas does not have to move for him, Michael.
Well, he doesn't have to move for him, but he has to move into the pit lane at the end of this lap, so it's only a matter of time before he has to move out anyway. But we are on only 1.5 lap to go as Gabor is sliding his somewhat damaged car, barely capable of keeping up with TJ. Texas so far is still leading, but he won't be definitely at the end of this penultimate lap. Gabor is sliding a bit. His tires seems to be doing pretty well. TJ looks to be attacking Texas, but he's going into the pit lane anyway, so we are now entering the final lap, and it's TJ versus Gabor, and Gabor now has some difficulties to even catch up to TJ, so it will be difficult, but racing is unpredictable, and let's see how the final lap unveils.
One final lap. Gabor has to gain a crazy amount of time. He's 6/10 behind. He's deep through turn number 1. TJ just has to nurse this car then to the end. He doesn't have to take too many risks. 0.6 of a second for both these drivers is an enormous amount of time. Gabor knows deep down that this is over, but he's going to go for it. TJ's gone a bit wide. I said it might be over, but is it? TJ drops the ball in the bus stop. That hands a sniff of the victory to Gabor. But is it going to be enough? Just one hairpin and one sweeping corner to go. We've had a crash in the background. Adal's out of the race in the dying lap. Onifus as well, so a big incident there. But Gabor out of the hairpin. Does he have the slipstream? I don't think he does. He takes a tighter line, but it's going to be all over. TJ's got this wrapped up if he just manages to get round the final corner unscathed. Michael, this has been a thriller, but it's not going to be going to Gabor this time. It's going to be three-time Fox champ Road Appraiser TJ, who will take the victory in race 2 to deny Gabor the double win. But an epic race. Fastest lap goes to Gabor. Third place goes to Doctor then. So a fantastic race for Doctor in the end to steal a podium there, Michael.
Yeah, that was fantastic finish to this second sprint race of the nice Fragmaster Fox Friday, as TJ won just a few tenths of a second ahead of Gabor. Doctor in P3, then Sidus Bots in P4, Roger Chen in P5, then Rex, Happy D, Texas, RD2 now under the race green flag, and top 10 ended by Mugrillo. Then my teammate Zesty in P11, and we are watching Alpayson finishing in P12, closely followed by P13, Pico Koivanen. And rest of the finishers are the cars that are lap down. Yes.
Yeah, and there are quite a few of them, and we will read them out in just a moment's time. Gabor gets another fastest lap, a 1 minute 12.68, and it's Road Appraiser TJ this time, who wins in 39 minutes 40 seconds, 0.01, with Gabor there in P2 on this occasion. Doctor led every single lap bar, I think, 2 in that race. After he stayed out, got the pole position due to finishing P15. In race number 1. Sorry, no, he didn't start pole. It was Adal that started pole, but Doctor stole the front of the race very, very, very quickly and managed to lead most of the race. But just lost a little bit too much time, 5 seconds in the end to Gabor to take P3, a well-deserved podium there. Then it's Botsy, Roger Chen, Rex, Happy D, Texas, RD2, and Magrio. RD2 will be happy on his debut in Fox Friday on our channel for his result there. That's a nice one. Then we've got Zesty for MRC, Al Payson, who was in the wars today. He was bouncing off cars, he was bouncing off the wall. Not all his fault, of course. Just an unfortunate series of events that led to a race he'd probably want to forget, really. Then we've got Koivunen, Onifus, Finn UK, Adal, Rocket, Rick 98, Lucas, and Stiefler. But some DNFs thrown in there as well. Onifus DNF'd on the final lap and will actually be classified ahead of Finn UK, Adal, and Rocket because he ended up doing one more lap than them. Or finished ahead of them on aggregate. So there we go. Rick 98 DNF, Lucas DNF, Stiefler DNF, and I think there are 1 or 2 on the other side of this results page as well. Yes, we've got Kirku and Yoni Katilla as well, who barely got going. Only a few laps registered before not being unable to finish the race.
What a race it was. It was a fantastic battle for the win, and I forgot it for Gabor for making that little mistake that probably did cost him the win, but TJ had a fantastic run, and it is a well-deserved victory for him in this second sprint race of tonight's Fox Friday event at South City Town Course, the SO5 configuration in the for speed. That was a very entertaining evening for me. How about you, Pete?
Yeah, race 2 certainly my highlight. Race 1 was it did spread out a fair bit as you always come to expect at South City in such a high downforce car. The drivers just can't stay close enough to one another. But when you throw a reverse grid in the mix, well, everything changes, and that's exactly what happened. And we will see what the Fragmaster organisers for this series, the Fox Friday organisers, decide to do for the remaining 3 rounds that we have. The next round we'll be covering will be Friday, the 13th of October. Unlucky for some, of course. And we will see what the plan is then. Will it be 2 races? Will it be 1? We will let you know as soon as we find out. And you can check out all the other broadcasts that we're going to be bringing your way over on our website, simbroadcasts.tv. We've got a number of very interesting races coming up very soon on our channel. One to be announced fairly soon, and the other, the endurance race is coming up, the 8 hours of West Hill, of course. So go check that out. Michael, thank you very much. Chris in the background, of course, thank you very much as well. And thanks to Fragmaster for having us along. They are kind enough to have supported us to bring you 8 rounds of their main championship this year, and we're hoping we can bring a few more towards the end of the year as well, as we reach a few more milestones for the series. Yeah, that's all from us here from Sim Broadcast. We hope you have a fantastic evening, and we wish you all the best. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the next one. From all of us here to all of you, have a great night. Goodbye.
Good night.